Hi everyone. So in this video, which is under the category of early mathematics, I'll be talking about the critical mathematical concepts for preschool children. So there are a couple of concepts that I'll be talking about. The first one is counting and cardinality, operations and algebraic thinking, numbers and operations in base 10, measurement and data, geometry, calendar time. So these are the mathematical concepts I'll be discussing in this video. So we'll get into it. Activities in preschool classroom must incorporate the use of manipulatives and hands-on learning, and the main emphasis should be on number sense. Do not use worksheets or independent practice in the preschool classroom. Instead, plan activities that will develop a strong sense of number and pattern. The following domains are critical concepts that you teach preschool children to be mathematically proficient. So I'll be talking about manipulatives at the end of the video. So what they tell is in if you're a teacher or a parent, you should not use like worksheets and independent practice for mathematics inside the preschool classroom or at home. Instead, you have to plan activities that will develop a strong sense of number and pattern. So hands-on learning, hands-on activity involving the children in different kinds of activities is the best way to integrate and help your child develop early mathematics skills as a preschool teacher or a parent. So the first mathematical concept is counting and cardinality. Now I'll read through it, then I'll tell you the important things about it. The number sense is the foundation for success in mathematics and is the first vital skill for preschool children. The ability to count accurately is a part of number sense, but also to see the relationship between numbers, such as addition and subtraction. Children should be able to demonstrate simple counting skills before kindergarten. This include counting to 20, ordering numbers, identify how many are in a set without counting, which is also known as substituting, and understanding that the quantity does not change regardless of the arrangement of the items. Additionally, preschool children should understand cardinality, in which the last number said is the number of items in a set. So, in this concept, they are telling you that preschool children should have this thing called number sense. This number sense is also can be described as the ability to count accurately and also having the ability to see the relationship between numbers, being able to do the simple addition, calculation, subtractions, and also the children should be able to have demonstrate a simple counting skills before kindergarten. Simple counting skills include like counting up to 20, ordering numbers, or substituting. So the substituting means identifying how many are in a set without even counting. If you have a bucket of apples, a basket of apples which has three or four apples in it, your child doesn't have to count one, two, three, four, but instead, when they look at the bucket or the basket, they can tell that there are four apples in it. That's called substituting. So, this counting and cardinality is a very important mathematical concept in preschool education, especially preschool mathematics. Uh, Again, I will tell you what cardinality is. Cardinality is the last number that your child is able to understand that the last number set in a series of counting is the number of items in the set. If you tell them to count the number of balls on the table, they will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 balls in the table. So if your child understands the last number that they said, which is 5, is the number of items that is on the table, then they have the skill of cardinality. Okay. The second main mathematical concept is operations and algebraic thinking. Mathematical ideas become real when teachers and students use words, pictures, symbols, and objects. Young children are naturally visual and can build those relationships between numbers and the items represented. Therefore, teachers must use pictures and objects to clarify that relationship. As children learn to count, they will learn that the number symbol represents the number of items shown. The patterns are the things that repeat in a logical way. Manipulatives can help children sort, count, and see patterns. And AB pattern means that two items alternate, such as red, blue, red, blue, red. ABC pattern means three items are in a pattern like bear, cow, giraffe, etc. Students will learn to make predictions about what would come next in a pattern. So, under this operations and algebraic thinking concept, you might be thinking, why do a preschool child need to know algebraic expressions or algebra? Because they're small. But that's not it. It's the understanding very simple concepts of algebra makes a good basis for their mathematics skills in the primary years and the secondary school. So, what they do is in these operations and algebraic expressions, the preschool teachers mostly use words, pictures, and symbols to show the relationship between the object and the noun. So we have the number symbols. If your child is able to identify the number symbol, represents the number of items shown. Now you might be having a card that shows um, three apples in it, and next to the three apples, the number symbol, the three symbol is written. So if your child is able to understand that the symbol represents the number of items shown, then this child has the skill of algebraic thinking, has the skill of operation. And also, when it comes to patterns, you can integrate or involve your children in patterns that have two items. For example, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. That's one pattern. And if they're okay with two patterns, they can go for three patterns, like we call it AB pattern and ABC pattern. So if it's three item patterns, it goes like bear, cow, giraffe, bear, cow, giraffe. If a child is able to predict what comes next in a pattern, if it's an AB pattern, it's red, blue, red, blue. If they can understand that blue comes after red comes after blue, then they have this idea of algebraic thinking. And if they have the idea, or if they can make a prediction, what comes after giraffe is bear, they have this sense of algebraic thinking. So that's the second mathematical operation in preschool mathematics. The third mathematical concept is number and operation in base 10. Preschool children begin to understand that the number 10 is made up of 10 ones. Although this is a difficult concept, teachers should allow children to count on their fingers 1 to 10, showing students that the meaning of the words more, less, bigger, smaller, more than, less than can help the young children understand estimation. So the number and operations in base 10 is a little bit difficult for the children in the preschool or the kindergarten to understand. But for helping them to understand this concept, the teachers can do a couple of things. That one thing is teaching them and allowing them to count from 1 to 10 using their fingers. They have 10 fingers. Every time they say a number, they have to fold their finger. That is one way we can help with this concept. The second way is letting them chances, involving them in activities that helps you to teach the children the meanings of more and less, or bigger and smaller, more than or less than. If you have, especially which this concept you can do with lots of teaching aids, you can get two baskets and fill it with different kinds of, maybe different kinds of pencils or different kinds of pens, and ask your children which basket has more pencils, which basket has less pens. Or you can take two balls or take two toys and ask which one is bigger, which one is smaller. Okay, so in these kinds of ways, you can help the children understand the meanings of the words more, less, bigger, smaller, more than, and less than, which will help them to understand this concept of estimation. Okay, the next mathematical concept is measurements and data. This is also a very important concept. Finding height, finding length, height, and weight using inches, feet, pounds, and non-standard units is called measurement. Now, under this category of measurements, it comes the time, the length, the mass, the distance. Lots of things comes under the category of measurements. But they don't need to know in preschool education, they don't need to know the units that we're using in time, the units that they are using in measurements. They just need to identify the concept of it. Also, in this skill area is measurement of time. Teachers should ask their students to notice objects in their world and compare them. For example, the step stool is bigger than the chair. Do you think it will fit under the chair? So these kinds of things. Now, asking questions, especially, you have a step stool and you also have a chair. You tell them the step stool is bigger than the chair, and you ask the children and let them think, do you think it will fit under the chair? So that's it. That's how you give this sense of measurement, this sense of, um, another word, estimation to your child. Sorting is a skill that preschool children should do often. One way to sort is by color. Another way is by another attribute. Teachers can ask students to count the toys in the basket and then sort them based on size, color, and their purpose. Okay, so another way of measurement is helping them to improve the skill of sorting. So, if you have a basket full of mixed toys, it has blocks in it, it has balls, it has building blocks, it has soft toys. So, you ask your children to get that bigger basket and sort them by the size or the color or by the type of the toy. So, this will help them have a sense of sorting and um, also help them compare things, like earlier we said bigger, smaller, more, less, like that. They compare, this is one color, this is another color, this is one type of toy, this is a different type, this is one size, this is a different size. So these kinds of things we can help the child improve the skill of measurement and data. Another most important mathematical concept in early mathematics is geometry. So when we hear the word geometry, we think that it's a very big concept and it is difficult for the preschool children to understand. But basically, the things that comes under geometry is like shapes, sorting, colors, movements, space, position, and directions. So spatial sense is geometry, but at the preschool level, it is the ability to recognize shape, size, space, position, direction, and movement. So in preschool level, if your child is able to recognize the shape, size, space, position, direction, and movement, we can say your child is having a good sense of geometry. Teachers can talk with children about shapes, count the size, and describe the shapes. Furthermore, talk with children about shapes in their world. For example, you can take day to day examples. The pizza is round, the sandwich is a rectangle. So, getting the objects around you and asking them about the shapes, about the number of sides in it, about the appearance in it, will give them a good understanding or a good chance to develop the sense of geometry. Um, the last mathematical concept is calendar time. Morning calendar time is a daily part of many preschool classrooms. There is a ritual when children sit on the floor and talk about today, look at yesterday, find out about tomorrow, and write out the date. Understanding that time is unsequential is crucial for young children. They think about before and after, later and earlier, future and past events. So, according to a paper written by Benecke, Ostrucki, and Katz, preschool children generally cannot judge distance or length of time. For example, they do not understand that a field trip is in 5 days and differently than if it is in 8 days. They don't have the judgment, they don't have the ability to judge the length of time or the distance of time. They will think it is in the future, or they will think that was in the past. That's the only judgment they can make about time. And it is different for young children to judge the unit of time. And although a true understanding of calendar dates comes with maturity, using the calendar to teach other concepts is also valuable time spent in the classroom. For example, vocabularies like month, year, weekend, sequencing like yesterday, today, tomorrow, patterns like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can use these kinds of words to give a good sense of the calendar time. So that's basically the calendar time. So these are the mathematical concepts that we discussed today: counting and cardinality, operations in algebraic thinking, numbers and operations in base 10, measurements and data geometry, and last calendar time. So I think you got a good understanding of the critical mathematical concept for preschool children. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.